What is up, Honors Pre-Calc? Miss Willis here. Unit P, Day 3 notes. I have the problem already up on my screen. In these, we're going to have two different functions. I like to use two different colors, and it would help you guys also. So I'm going to do the first one in purple, and then I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to do it in orange. All right. So let's get to business. So we're going to I make two different tables. Y equals negative 2x minus 1. Okay, x, y. So I look at that interval and it says I'm going from negative infinity to positive 2. So that means I'm using negative numbers until I reach 2. That's all that means. We know this is a line because it's y equals mx plus b. So I'm just going to pick a couple of points. Negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And since 2 is a bracket, I'm going to remind myself that it's going to be a closed circle when I graph it, and it's going this way to the negatives, okay? That's just a reminder to me. I need to get the y values. How do you get the y values? You plug them into your equation. So I'm going to plug in negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Then I plug in 0. I get negative 1. I plug in 1. I get negative 3. I plug in 2. I get negative 5. Now I'm going to graph this guy. So I'm going to start with my solid point, since that's the end of my graph. 2 is at negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to make it a big solid point just to indicate that that's where I'm starting and stopping my graph. Like nothing should go past that dot, whether it's to the left or to the right. Okay, it's got one or the other, not both. All right, so 1, negative 3. 0, negative 1. And 2, already graphed that. Negative 1, positive 1. Sorry, I just almost confused myself. And then I'm going to connect it to make my linear line using ruler, whatever you need to use. All right, so now I'm going to graph the orange. So that is y equals negative x plus 4. And I wrote y. All right, and I'm going to make a table. So x, y, I have 2 and I'm going to infinity, so I'm going to get bigger. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 2 plus 4, when I plug that in, it gives me 2. And that's going to be my open circle this time, just to remind myself. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. All right, so I'm going to go to 2, comma 2. And almost made that a solid circle, but I want to make it an open circle there. Okay, and then I'm going to graph 3, comma 1, 4, 0, and 5, negative 1. And then I'm going to draw my graph. And there you have it, your first piecewise. All right, problem number 2. We're only doing 4. Again, this should not take me long. So my suggestion to you, pause the video. Well, you need to pause the video, write this down. And then I would pause it and actually work it out on your own. See if you can do this one on your own. All right, welcome back. So we are going to do the same thing. I'm going to do this one in purple. I'm going to do the middle one in orange, and I'm going to do the last one in green. All right, so make a table. This one is y equals negative 4. In my table, I'm going to go from negative numbers, and I'm going to stop at negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to pick, since I know what this is, I'm going to pick negative 4, negative 3, negative 2. I don't need very many numbers because it is a horizontal line. I know it's a horizontal line. So negative 2 is going to be my closed circle. That's going to be my stopping point. Okay, and all my y's are going to be negative 4 since there's nothing to plug into. So now I'm going to graph it. So at negative 2, negative 4, I'm going to have a solid circle. And make it bigger so that that's my starting point, just so I know. And it's just going to go straight through negative 4. All right, let's do orange. So I have y equals x minus 2. Again, another line. Next one's not going to be all straight lines, just to start us off. So those are two open circles, and I'm starting with negative 2, and I have to, negative 1, I have to stop at positive 2. And that's another open circle. So these are going to be open circles. All right, so when I plug that in, I get negative 4, and then negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3, 0 minus 2 is negative 2, 1 minus 2 is negative 1, 2 minus 2 is 0. All right, so now I'm going to go graph this guy. Negative 2, negative 4. Oh, look, there's already a solid circle, so it's just going to stay solid. You don't need to indicate anything, that's just already filled. It's the same spot. Negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 2, 1, negative 1, and 2, 0. And I just realized something. These are open circles. So that's not really going to change what I said. So I'm going to fix that. So this was my purple. Purple was filled. Orange is open. I'm just going to draw an open circle around it. It doesn't change anything about it. It's still going to be closed because of the purple. So that's not going to make a difference if it's already closed. Now, if they were both open circles, then it would stay open for both of them. Okay? But the purple line filled it, so it's fine. And then at positive 2, I also have an open circle. Okay? And I'm going to draw my line. All right, let's do the green. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. I'm going to go from 2 to infinity. So 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's my x, and this is my y. So negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. Negative 7, negative 9. All right, so at positive 2, I'm going to have a graph at negative 3. And it's going to be a closed circle. Sorry, forgot to do that. That's what kind of like stumped me up. So 2, negative 3. That's going to be closed down here. And then I have 3 is at negative 5. And then the next one's at negative 7. And then the next one's at negative 9. Whoops. All right. And there we go. There's your piecewise function. All right. Next problem. So pause the video, write it down. All right, I'm going to do the same thing, different colors. You should know that number 3 is going to be a little bit of an exponential graph. All right, so we're going to do this. I'm going to do purple, orange, and green. All right, just want to make sure. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm going to start with my exponential function. it's wanting me to start with negative numbers and stop at -4. So I'm going to say -6, -5, -4. All right, and I have x and I have y. All right, so what does a negative number do when it's an exponential? It just turns it into a fraction. And 2 to the 6th power is a pretty big number. Let me grab my calculator. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I think it's a really big number. 64, not that big. Over dramatic. So that's like -1/64. But pause, it's not negative since it's an even, so that's a positive. Let me just type this in. -2 raised to the -6. Oh, JK, no. That's right, because you got to put it in parentheses. All right, so now let's type in, or let's not type in, let's do 5. 2 to the 5th is -1/32. And the 4th power is going to be -1 or positive 1/16. So it's kind of rotating, but it's just rotating right around that 0. It's just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, closer to that 0. So I'm just going to show that. So at x equals -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to be an open circle, which I forgot to indicate, but it's okay. Because once you practice this, you don't have to always indicate it. And then -5, like it's just kind of like hovering, but you don't, it's just draw. Okay, we're just going to treat it like this. Okay, that's what that's doing. All right, now I have the negative. We know that's absolute value, but we're only graphing it from -4, and I'm just going to show -3, -2, -1, 0. And this was y equals negative. I changed up my notes. Now I got to go back, and this was y equals -2 to the x. All right. In all honesty, the more I think about this y equals -2 to the x, if it was in parentheses, then it would rotate signs. But since it's not in parentheses, that negative is on the outside, we'll just assume. So we're just going to make these all negative. Okay, so on your test, if it's in parentheses, so I kind of messed that up, and I'm not redoing this video. This is like the 3rd time I'm done this video. We're not redoing it again. I keep making little silly mistakes, and I didn't want to confuse you, but I'm not. So we're going to make those negatives. If there was parentheses, then it would rotate signs. But since there's not parentheses, we are not going to rotate the signs. Okay? All right. So -4 is going to be closed, and if I plug in -4, absolute value would make it a +4, but since there's a negative on the outside, it's going to be -4. -3 is going to be -3, -2, and -1, and 0. And if I were to have to keep going, 1 would be -1. It would just flip. That's where the v would come in. So 0, 0 would be its extreme point. So at 0, 0, I have an open circle. And then -1, -2, -3, and -4, I have a closed circle. Both of them are closed. I caught that mistake. Whew. They're both closed. All right. Here we go. Let me slow my roll so I quit making mistakes. Y equals 4 minus x squared. So I know that this is going to be a parabola of some sort, and I'm pretty sure it's flipped upside down because that's a -x squared. And I'm going to go from 0 to infinity. I'm not going to do very many numbers because they're going to start getting too big. So 4 minus 0 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 4 is 0. All right, so I have 0, comma, positive 4. Let me see. That's supposed to be an open circle. So 0, positive 4 is open. 1 is at 3. 2 is at 0. And if you wanted to keep going, you could, but this is going to just be an upside down parabola. And there you have it, folks. All right, last one, and I'm done with this video. All right, pause me, write it down, see if you can do it on your own. It's only 2 graphs, so nice. And we're still going to practice in class. Honestly, if you probably think you have it, you don't have to write this down. But there's a 4th going on there. I don't know. So, purple. I have y equals negative 6. And I only have to go from negative values to negative 2. So I'm just going to do negative 4, negative 3, negative 2. And it's going to be straight negative 6 down here. And we have an open circle at negative 2. So that's where I'm going to start. Negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 6, open circle. And then it's just going to go this way. So I'm going to draw it. Okay. All right. Now the orange line is y equals x plus 1. And I am going from, negative 2, and I'm going to get bigger. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. All right, so negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1 to the 4th power. It's in parentheses, so it's going to be positive 1. Okay, negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 0 to the 4th power is still 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 to the 4th is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 to the 4th is 16. That's off my graph. So, that's okay. We have a closed circle, and we're going this way. So at negative 2, positive 1, it's closed, which is fine, because we have an open circle underneath it, so it still passes the vertical line test. Negative 1, 0 is right here. 0, 1's right here, and it's just going to go up really fast. There you go. All right, folks. See you on class next day. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.